I was going to wear my Argentina jersey, but I decided against it.
You would have made me very happy. I would have worn mine if you had told me. I have to dig it out of the storage ever since our World Cup win. I've set it aside till the
We'll have to
next
do that next time. I mean,
next
especially.
time. Warn me, and I will be wearing my jersey.
I mean, at the end, if we have some time, we can talk a little bit about Messi and Maradona and what club your family supports.
We can get all into it. I don't know very much except for like one time every 4 years. I'm like the biggest soccer fan of all time, and it's just when Argentina plays, either in Copa America or in the World Cup. So I'm not that loyal of a football fan. I'm just a Messi/Argentina fan.
Did you get to go to any games at the Copa America last summer?
No, I didn't get to go to any, but I flew out to Buenos Aires on the day that we won the World Cup. I was in London working, and I literally just booked an overnight flight, and I was like, I have to be in Argentina in this moment. And so I booked a flight, and then, my mom was at El Obelisco, which is in like the town square. And I mean, forget about it. I mean, Argentina was the most magical I've ever seen it in the months and weeks after we won.
I'd love to dive into that if we have some time after, but
yeah,
we got to talk about Gonzo Girl here. So
Gonzo Girl.
My first question is, I want to know what it was like working with Patricia in her directorial debut. What were some key things you wanted to focus on when telling the story of Allie's arc from, an innocent aspiring author to a grown woman now full of these experiences?
I think it was a two-part question. So Patricia, I mean, there's pretty much nothing that an actor could want more from a director than someone who understands what it's like to be on the other side, someone who has been an actor, who knows what it's like to be an actor, who knows how sensitive and fragile we are. I mean, as an actor, when you're on set, your director is your boss. It's the person who's containing you. They're carrying you. They're ultimately going to edit your performance. Like, the trust that you have to have is immense. So much can be changed in an edit. And there's so many times when you're acting and you're just like, God, I'm not clicking. Something's not working. Or there's moments where you're feeling great and you're in a zone and in a groove. And to have someone who can support you, like Patricia, in those moments when you're just like, I don't know, something doesn't feel right in the scene. Maybe it's the blocking or the movement, or maybe my intentions are wrong, or maybe my internal monologue is wrong. And Patricia understands it because she's just been doing it her whole life, and not just doing it, but she's just one of the greatest actresses, in my opinion. And I've been following her work for so long that it was hard for me when I started working with her to not just ask her, what do I do? What do I do? How do you want me to do it? Because I just think she's so great. So I was like, you must have all the answers. And Patricia was really great at kind of taking a step back and being like, well, this is your journey as an actress, which is separate to mine. And I'm going to let you discover it and you answer your own questions and give you the space to explore and find it. So I would say that she's a perfect balance of, directing, but also really letting actors unstick it themselves and kind of go through it and kind of figure it out on their own, which I really appreciate, rather than being micromanaged. So Patricia, greatest of all time, great in everything she does, a real artist. She's sewing dresses on the spot. She's building sets on the day. I mean, she's handy in every capacity. She's a mother, so she knows how to take care of all the younger ones on set. And it just, I hope I get to experience another film that was as positive as my experience, another directorial relationship that is as special as my one with Patricia was. And then for Allie, I thought it was really important for her to never feel like a victim in her relationship with Walker. I think it's also important to show, when you're a young woman in her early 20s, which now I'm in my mid 20s, unfortunately, but a woman in her early 20s, just kind of like how malleable and fragile we are in a lot of ways. And it's this combination of feeling like an adult and feeling empowered, but also like needing your mommy and being confused and being scared and questioning, like, what are my values? What are my morals? What is my point of view of the world? Where do I stand on all these things? And so it was like a very interesting kind of seesaw between these things with Allie, which I feel very much that as a young woman, I feel, you know. And it's interesting because I think when you're as ambitious as Allie is, and you know what you want so clearly, you know you want to be a writer, you know you want to find your voice, you don't quite know what your voice is yet. And you're working with someone who is so grand and an icon and on a pedestal, your boundaries to blur. Perhaps things that you wouldn't allow in another situation start to, you know, shift a little bit, and you kind of cross the line that you thought you'd never cross. And then that gets really messy. And so I just wanted to make sure that at the end of the story, you felt Allie was empowered and that this experience didn't break her, and it actually really formed her and molded her into the woman that she went on to be.
I know you're fluent in both English and Spanish, but you also spoke a little bit of Italian in this film, right?
Yeah.
And I know you have Italian citizenship as well. So how long did that take to pick up? Are you fluent in Italian?
I have an Italian passport due to my grandparents, my paternal grandparents. I actually studied Italian in the pandemic for 2 years. With a coach on Zoom, because I was like, I have to make use of my time at home. It completely went out the window. Similar, like all languages, you feel really great in the moment, then you put it away for a year, kind of like the guitar, which I also played in the pandemic, and then I also put down, and I wouldn't even know where to start now. But I think I also speak pretty fluent French, and I think that if having the base of all those 3 languages, it just is easier to pick up a new language. And Italian is very similar to Spanish in a lot of ways, which is also quite similar to French. But in that situation, I was definitely WhatsApping my mom's Italian friends and being like, can you send me a voice note of exactly how to say this? And maybe I butchered it. I don't know. We'll see what the Italians think.
I mean, it sounded good. What's funny is because I used to be nearly fluent in Spanish, but you know, even just like a year of not really speaking it, you lose it.
Oh, forget about it.
And
yeah.
I kind of regret it. I'm like, you know, maybe I just need to get back into it and just get into the flow with it. Yeah.
But it's a muscle. And I feel that way about guitar too. I feel so guilty because I played for 3 years every day, 2 hours a day. And I finally got a groove and I built the calluses and I was ready to go. And then you put it away kind of like a language for a year. And then you're like, I don't know how to do this. But I think that somewhere in us, there's muscle memory and we pick it up faster than we think.
Oh yeah. Now I really want to talk about your scenes with Willem. You know, there's a lot of emotional scenes. You know, how challenging were they? Where your characters are, yes, they're on drugs, but they're basically both opening their souls to each other.
It's interesting because in the rehearsal, like I had never met Willem or Patricia. I was attached to the project 3.5 years before we actually shot. So it was a 3-year process of losing financing, actors falling out. And this is a testament to who Patricia is as a woman, but she stuck by me the entire time and was like, this is my Allie Russo. This is my Allie Russo. When in many situations, they could have recasted someone. They could have gotten perhaps a bigger name actress who had better box office or someone they could get better financing with. And Patricia was just like, no, this is my girl. And I just, as a young actor, I think you remember so much in your career who are the people that really fought for you and vouched for you when many others wouldn't. And for me, that is Patricia, alongside with some other directors that I've gotten to work with before her that were really just champions and gave me opportunities I couldn't get on my own. So I hadn't met her until the first day of rehearsal. I show up in Utah and we had, I think, 5 to 7 days of fittings and rehearsals and kind of starting to read the script out loud for the first time. I'd never met Willem. So when I showed up on that first day in the church, I was like, I'm Cammy. What are we doing? We're about to go off in a week and do this whole thing. And I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm scared. And she just was so cool. And she was like, you got this, honey. And she was smoking outside the church. And she was like, you got it all in you. Don't worry about it. And I was like, I guess don't worry about it. But she had Willem and I do some exercises, kind of get comfortable around each other. We put a couple scenes up on our feet and we were chasing each other around the church. And for some of those, for the gun scene when Willem, puts the gun up to his head, no spoilers, puts the gun up to his head and threatens me. We had like kind of rehearsed that scene where I was chasing him and he was chasing me. And we just did a bunch of stuff to kind of break the ice because once we started going on day one, we had a 20-day shoot. So it was like there was no time to really stop and find stuff. You're doing multiple scenes a day. And when they're lighting for another scene, you're changing outside and getting a quick pickup shot of me running to the pig really quick. And that's how indie movie making goes. It's very run and gun. And I just trusted them. I knew that they had my best interest, and I knew that they were gonna. When I met them, I was like, these people are going to take care of me. You know, they're looking out for me, and I felt that a lot from Willem as well. He was a real partner. You know, you can often get an actor who's a little bit standoffish and in their own world, but Willem really kind of helped guided me in the moments I needed guiding.
Was there any, maybe not improvisation, but were you able to play off of Willem kind of in some of these scenes that may not have been scripted, but felt natural being in those characters in those scenes?
I'm sure there were moments like that. I can't recall an exact moment, but I think when you're working, I mean, it makes your life so much easier. It makes your job so much easier when you're acting opposite a great actor. I mean, Willem's doing stuff that's moving stuff in me and churning emotions in me, and that's because that's a testament to his talent. You know, if you've got someone who's, you know, a wallpaper in front of you, it's hard. You have to conjure that stuff up, and you do it, but it's takes more work. But when you're cooking with someone in the moment, like Willem, who's free and wild, and you're really just you have to be in the moment. You have to just watch and react to whatever's happening. So it takes away that kind of whatever mental setup and mental expectation you had of where the scene was going to go when you're both just surprising each other and kind of flowing.
I got a couple fun questions. I want to see how many we can get through. You ready?
Okay. Yeah.
All right,
ready.
So who on set made you laugh the most or helped keep things light?
Patricia, by far, funniest person.
What did she do?
She would just show up in outfits that were just like as if like a toddler grabbed one thing from a different closet, and she doesn't care at all. She doesn't care what anyone thinks. She wears these oversized glasses, and she had like Adidas slides that were like, one was pink and one was a different color. And she carried around this bag this whole time. She's just directing the whole thing with this bag. She's just, everything she does is funny. And she does this thing with her hair all the time, and she doesn't even realize she does it, but she's so endearing and cute. And so it's Patricia. And also what's funny is that her laugh is so funny that it makes you laugh. She's got a great laugh. So she would break us all the time because when she starts laughing, everyone laughs.
So speaking of outfits, you actually wore a couple really, really cool ones. What was it like kind of picking those out, maybe trying them on before you started filming and deciding which ones?
Yeah, I one thing I will say is that I always have a very clear vision before I go into rehearsals of who I imagine this character to be. And of course, you then combine what your vision and idea was for the character with the costume designer. And I've always gotten really lucky to work with great costume designers that were super aligned. And when I throw an idea, they're like, oh yeah, and that could work for this, and that could work for this. And then again, you're just like in the flow. And I really thought about for years, I mean, obviously until I got to shoot this, who I saw Allie as, and I wanted her to really start much more kind of, I'd say, nerdy and reserved and not into her body and her, and someone who like doesn't really wear makeup and doesn't care about that stuff, and way more of an intellectual. And then as you know, Walker starts to kind of bring her into this world. It's like, oh, she's wearing a tennis dress. Oh, she's wearing like a lacy slip dress. And so she starts to get further and further from herself, which I thought gave like a nice arc and somewhere to go for her. But my favorite outfit was probably, it was a lot of vintage. And then Patricia gave me her Miu Miu 1990s boots that she's had for 30 years. They were from her personal closet for the cowgirl dress when I'm wearing the red picnic top and the red skirt. And so those boots are very memorable to me. And I actually stole a pair of the Nike Cortezes that Allie wears in a lot of the movies. So I have those.
I was actually, one of my questions was going to be, what prop or something did you take from set?
I was hoping Patricia would give me those Miu Miu boots from the 90s, but she has not yet. But maybe after today's premiere, I'll bring that back up. But I stole some of the oversized polos and I stole the shoes that got really dirty and they're very memorable to me. And I haven't stolen any props. Maybe I should circle back and get my journal. That's actually a good idea. I need to get more.
What was your favorite moment on an off day? Well, actually, I don't, were there any off days from filming? Cause you shot it in what, 21 days?
We shot it in like, I think, yeah, 20, 21 days. And on the weekends we would just like sleep and either do another fitting or meet up for like a rehearsal. And it was just like a blackout for 21 days. I mean, you're shooting probably 14, 15-hour days. You go home, you sleep, you learn the 9 lines for the next day, you show up. But it's just kind of my favorite time when I'm filming because there's nothing outside of the world. You can't make birthday parties. You can't make commitments. Like you're far away from home and you are just thrusted into something. I actually dislike having a lot of time off because I feel like something beautiful happens when you're running on adrenaline and you're running on empty.
What was the weirdest or most random thing that happened during filming?
Well, Patricia has told this story, but on the first day of filming, after I said 3+ years of waiting for this moment for me and more for them, it was Hunter S. Thompson's birthday on our first day of filming. And at the end of the day, it like rained and then there was like a massive rainbow. And something really special is that Willem actually got to wear, Anita, Hunter's wife, gifted Willem some of Hunter's robes and stuff. And one of them had a bullet in it from Hunter. And so there was cool little moments where we felt Hunter's energy and kind of his blessing around the set. But I think that first day being Hunter S. Thompson's birthday, which we didn't know until we were there halfway through the day, and then the rainbow came out, was just, it felt very serendipitous and special.
Oh, that's perfect. Who broke character the most during emotional scenes?
I don't think any of us broke character. I mean, I will always say myself because when I get the giggles, I'm the worst. But this was heavy stuff. I don't think there was like an opportunity to break it. We were in it, you know. I think we were tired and emotional and really feeling it. So I can't remember breaking it.
And that's what we call being professional, right? That's
well, no, because on a lighter project, I mean, I just shot a show for Netflix and I'm like cracking up half the time. But I mean, you're working opposite Willem Dafoe. There's not room for like, I'm not messing up in front of Willem Dafoe, you know? I've got to keep it professional.
He had a lot of, I guess, mannerisms or whatever, or movements that were just hilarious. At least,
in non-emotional scenes, watching him is insane. I mean, even the way he skips and all his physicality is so funny, and he would do stuff like, you know. But in the emotional scenes, we didn't break. But all the other time, it was hard to watch Willem. He's so physical. He's so in his body. He's so alive. It's different every take. So he's just. I could have sat back and just watched him and forgotten that I was meant to perform.
What was your go-to snack on set?
I mean, we were out sharing trailers. It was not glamorous, but I would say my go-to snack, I found a pizzeria that was like really good in the town of Park City. And I would just like order whole pies to myself and eat them at midnight in my trailer while we were doing night shoots. But my kryptonite snack that I always have on every set is blue salt and vinegar kettle chips.
Ooh, okay. That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah.
What's one thing you always brought to set with you?
My script with all my notes in it. I always have like one script. I know sometimes actors like have loose scripts or pages. I've like always got a hard binder and it's got everything I need top to bottom, labeled, color coded, scenes for different colors for different drugs that I'm on, so I can like follow the drug trajectory. I'm super OCD and organized, and like I cannot go to set unless I physically have my binder that also has like ideas and notes and questions and maybe line changes. So I need my binder.
Now, I think we've got a little bit of time left, so I kind of really want to hear about you going to Buenos Aires after the World Cup. What was that like? I've seen like the aerial shots of the entire capital being packed. Were you in there?
So my mom went to the Obelisco, which is where I think you saw those aerial shots in the center of the town. And I think there was something like over 4 million people. I think it was like the second largest gathering of people since a massive Indian wedding, perhaps. I think that was just a fun fact that I read. But I mean, it's funny because my mom and dad are both Argentinian. My whole family's still in Argentina. I have a citizenship. It was my first language. My parents moved to America a year before I was born. So it's such a big part of my life. And it's not even that I'm a big football or soccer fan. It's just that it's like, it's a pride that you're literally born with. Like, I just feel such ownership over Argentina and over Messi and over our team that I don't watch a game for 2 years. But then when the season comes up and it's Copa America or World Cup, I'm at Argentinian bars. I'm wearing my jersey. I'm making my friends wear jerseys. So I don't know. It's very much in your blood, but I think it's really the amount of joy that it brought the country, for multiple years to come. Like, you can't really understand that feeling unless you're in the streets and you see every person 100 years old, 3 years old, they're crying. It's just the greatest feeling in the world. It brings a country together.
What's funny is I'm American, but I consider myself a La Albiceleste fan since 2002. So
wait, who is that?
No, La Selección, just the team.
Oh, La Selección. Yeah. Oh, okay, yes.
So it's funny. It's like I literally just watched the game the other day against Colombia, 1-1.
So you're way more loyal than I am. See, I'm only like a once every 2 years.
Yeah, but at least you're Argentinian, So it's
but it's also about it's the same. Like Americans love the Super Bowl. It's like we go to the Argentinian market and we get the empanadas and the media lunas and we bring choripan and chimichurri and we do we get all of our friends together and everyone has to wear a jersey and it's just a fun thing to have. To especially when you live far away from your country, to bring people.
Oh, that's amazing. Camila, thank you so much for your time. This was
thank you.
I could talk about that the entire time, but I really enjoyed the film as well. I thought you were fantastic, and
thank you.
Best of luck tonight at the premiere.
Yeah, thanks so much. It was nice to meet you.